Hello everyone, if you're not familiar with my channel, this is not the usual kind of content that I make. This is not the kind of content that I really want to make. I'm a chill guy. All I want to do is play Pokemon games I like and talk about Pokemon games that I like. But recently I feel like I'm taking crazy pills watching trailers and gameplay of the new Pokemon Legends ZA and seeing people in the comments talk about how revolutionary and fun it is. Quick note, I have not played Pokemon Legends ZA. I will not play Pokemon Legends ZA. Why is that? Because it is bad. How do I know it is bad? Well, that's simple. It's because I have these things in my head called eyes and a ball of meat behind my eyes called a brain. Let's get this straight right now. I'm not going to be going in on Nintendo, Game Freak, or the Pokemon Company for this poo-poo platter of a game. No, no, no. It is you that is the problem. The person coughing up 70 doubloons for this slop and telling Nintendo you love it. This is not a new phenomena. Pokemon games for the past 10 years have been just as doo-doo pee-pee poo-poo as this one, and yet they are rewarded for it. They sell tens of millions of copies. Nintendo thinks you want the slop because apparently you do, so they shovel said slop down your slippery, slimy slop holes, and you little piggies go, ooh, nummy nummy slop, give me more slop, please, I love slop. Before we get fully into this, let me start by saying I'm not going to go over things like glitches or performance issues, of which there are many of both, or even the story. No one's talking about the story, but who's playing Pokemon games for the story? You play Pokemon games to capture cool looking things so you can have fun engaging battles with them. So visuals and gameplay will make up most of the conversation here because somehow this is what I see garnering the most praise. Brother, why do we let them do this to us? We must stop the bleeding somewhere. Look at this game. This is mid-90s Pixar. This is Wallace and Gromit with worse frame rates. This is Microsoft Paint. The windows are painted onto the wall. People wake up. You deserve better. Unless you're one of the people raving about this game, in which case you've gotten exactly what you deserve. You are not allowed to play good games until you repent to the higher power of your choosing and turn your back on all Pokemon games post-2014. I'll let the X and Y stand slide for now. Oh, that's the Switch 1 version, they say. But look at Breath of the Wild. I was blown away when I first saw this game's world after I left that little starting cave thing. It's a gorgeous game that itself pushes 10 years old. And guess what? It's on the Switch 1. But let's look at the Switch 2 version just for shoots and googles. Oh, wow, okay, so the Switch 1 makes this game look like a PS2 game, and the Switch 2 makes it look like a PS2 game? Wow, you guys really got me there. Oh, wait, this is what PS2 games look like? Never mind, these games literally aren't even PS2 quality. You must be wondering why this game looks so bad. You're thinking there must be a reason, and you'd be right. I did about 5 seconds of research for this video and came across a Gamer Rant article written by this dude and read the first 2 sentences of it and no more, since that gave me pretty much all the insight I needed into how this game ends up looking like this in the first place. And those sentences were, Pokemon Legends ZA may need to sell only 200,000 units to break even, according to former Nintendo employees. This incredibly low number of sales required to reach profitability is only possible because Pokemon Legends ZA reportedly has an extremely low budget. Who could have guessed that? So you're telling me a game with no textures at all had a low budget, but they're charging full price anyway? Wow, I'm shocked. But it's not all about how a game looks. I'm no graphics snob, okay? If a game plays good and is fun, I will happily play it even if it looks like a high school sophomore digital animation project. But look at this fight. This is supposed to be a fight between monsters of incomprehensible strength wielding powers beyond our imagination, and they just stand 2 feet apart from each other, exchanging pitiful looking attacks, and they don't even react to being hit. The combat has no weight at all. At this point, just make it text-based. You basically already have, as the only way to even really tell what's happening in the fight is to read the list of actions on the right-hand side. And the list of excuses from modern Pokemon fans has been the same for the last 10 years, and this first one is probably the one I take the most issue with, and that is, it's a kid's game. What is this even supposed to mean? You're playing it, you're praising it, even though it's a kid's game. How come I can't criticize it? You don't get to charge full AAA retail prices and only be head-to-kid games. You don't get to charge full AAA retail prices and only be head to kid game standards. No, you don't. When you charge AAA prices, you are now competing against AAA competition. And the whole idea of these Pokemon Legends games is they're supposed to be this open world, this grand adventure. Well, guess what? When you cast your hat into the ring of AAA open world adventure games, you're going head to head with some of the greatest games ever made. Games like Skyrim, The Witcher 3, and Elden Ring, and those are just the first three I could think of off the top of my head. There are many more. When I'm playing an open world adventure game, there are usually certain itches I have that any of these three games scratch better than Pokemon Legends ever could. Intense action-fueled combat, Elden Ring. Rich and immersive stories and characters, The Witcher 3. A sandbox where you can go anywhere and be anything, Skyrim. Heck, Nintendo already has great open-world adventures. The kid game excuse falls incredibly flat when the developers feel as though they can charge full price for it. Pokemon games used to be $40. If this game costs $40, this video would be way different. I might not even be making it at all, because if they charge $40, my opinion would be, okay, it's bad, but at least the developers are self-aware enough to know this game shouldn't command a full retail AAA price. Bethesda earlier this year released a remaster of Oblivion, which was incredible. It's a perfect remaster. It even outsold the original Oblivion. And the kicker, despite this game being incredible in pretty much every way, Bethesda went, well, it's a remaster. Many people already have the game or have played it before. It doesn't seem right to charge full price for an old experience, and they charge $50 for it. The remastered Generation 4 games, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, were sold at the then full AAA price of $60. They looked like this. The biggest video game company in the world looked at this and said, yup, sure, it's fine, they'll buy it. And we did. We bought it. These games, even though they are really just one game with very small changes between them, they sold 15 million copies combined. And also, before I go totally off the rails, let's get back to the kid game argument. Are kids not entitled to quality entertainment? No other industry thinks it can be bad if it's for kids. Let's compare a couple of children's shows for a quick example. CoComelon is a kids show, and people have no problem ripping it apart for rotting kids' brains by using things like bright colors and quick cuts to hoard your child's attention and turn them into baby zombies. Never hear anyone say, well, it's a kids show, why do you care so much? And now look at something like Avatar: The Last Airbender. Not just one of the best kid shows of all times, but one of the best shows of all times, full stop. It has action, laughs, everything kids love, as well as things adults like myself appreciate, something like a great story, and some of the most beautifully soul-wrenching moments to ever be shown on Nickelodeon.
Happy birthday, my son. If only I could have helped you. Leaves from the vine, falling so slow, like fragile, tiny shells drifting in the foam. Little soldier boy, come marching home. Brave soldier boy, comes marching home.
Okay, so now that my wife is definitely in tears, let's move on. Something else I hear when I bring this up is, Pokemon games aren't like those games. You're absolutely right. Pokemon does not compete with any of the aforementioned games at all. It ain't that kind of game, bro. The whole issue is it's priced as though it's supposed to be like those games. Like I said, if it was $40 or even $50, this is a completely different video. Okay, that's basically it. I don't need to be here ranting for hours, although I could, but that was cathartic. I feel better. A quick rundown. So this game is Duke, and I don't need to play it to know that it is Duke. So many Pokemon fans love eating Duke and telling the rest of us it is in fact not Duke. It is actually chocolate. I do not believe them. When I'm walking down the street and I see Duke on the ground, I don't need to eat it to deduce that it is Duke. Because if something looks like Duke and if something smells like Duke, I can assume that it is Duke, no matter what anyone who shovels it down their gullets wants to tell me. Pokemon is kind of in a rough spot for people like me, because what about this media franchise that's so near and dear to our hearts is of any quality anymore? As far as I know, the anime is basically over since Ash's story ended. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not hearing anything going on about it. Nobody's talking about how great it is. The cards are cool for sure, if you can even find them, and if you do, you'll likely be mugged by a 45-year-old bald man for them. No shade, we love the Roach King here, Mr. Dead Rat-a-tat Alarm Clock himself. Well, like I said previously, this isn't what I normally do here, but I needed to get this off my chest. This game is bad, don't play it. I won't, you shouldn't. Like and subscribe so I can upgrade from the free version of Clipchamp to the $20 a month version, okay? Bye!